Well, money transfers are becoming entrenched in South African culture as a popular way to send cash across the country. And today, if you want to send money to anyone, anywhere in South Africa, it can be done via a mobile phone. And of course, this infrastructure is widening access to the financial system and allows cash to be transferred more efficiently and economically than ever before. To tell us more about this is Nelly Sazulu, who is the head of Merchant Solutions at Standard Bank. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right. This migration from the normative way of banking to digital banking, when it's gaining momentum, what's influencing it?
So we definitely are seeing that there is a growth of trust in terms of digital channels and digital payments in South Africa. And a lot of it could also be facilitated by the growth of smart devices within the market. So customers are more trusting of these platforms, and so much we're then seeing that they are shifting away from cash. But also we must understand that cash also comes with safety concerns, and by providing these digital platforms, we're able to allow customers to be able to securely move money from cities, which is what we're seeing, movement of money from cities into the rural areas. So you're able to, from Johannesburg, make sure that ugogo accesses imali yakhe in a safe way, without being fearful that she could be robbed of her money, or also be not being fearful that says now you have to trust a middle person to be able to send that money to her. So we definitely are seeing that it's about trust and digital platforms and digital adoption.
Well, the issue of trust can be questioned in terms of how do we ensure that the money reaches the intended person, especially with the high amount or rate of crime. People steal cell phones, and how do you then guarantee that the person who has received that money is the right one?
So suppose we can't necessarily guarantee, but what it is if I know that I'm sending Colin money and I've got your cell phone number, I'm able to trust that I'm sending the money to the correct cell phone number. So what we implore customers to make sure that they are sending money to the correct cell phone number. And then the PIN is also then sent to the customer, but I also have, as the sender of the transaction, I'm somewhat in control, because I also have to make sure that I communicate the voucher to the recipient.
And you know, sometimes the issue of merchants who
Correct.
say that they've got a confirmation of payment through a screenshot of a payment, whereas it was a fake one. How do you guard against that discrepancy?
Sorry, say that again?
There are some merchants who say that when they have sold something and then they need to be paid, somebody would send them a screenshot of a payment, whereas it's not a legitimate one, it's a fake one.
So again, your bank as a customer sends you an SMS that tells you that money has you successfully facilitated a transaction, and as a customer you are well within your rights to dispute that screenshot and say that you trust within your bank to be able to communicate the payment of your transaction. And again, I think it's and allow the customer, if they say that you want to either redo the transaction or you say you don't want to do the transaction, but you have your protection in terms of the payments.
So now, have you identified the downside of digital banking, as in like the loopholes that exist in as far as somebody who has never done it before and saying that what would they be susceptible to when you look at ATM fraud, when you look at how cybercrime also has affected the movement of money?
Sure. I think what we're seeing is that as a bank, we're also ensuring that we continuously communicate the fraud and security bulletins with our customers to make sure that our customers are aware of the transactions and what they need to look out for when they are transacting on digital platforms, so that we are making sure that the message is clear, so that there's a growth of education. Because as I said, as customers move on to these platforms, specifically if you've never done them before, you want to feel that your bank is protecting you, and that's why we emphasize and communicate those particular bulletins and make sure that customers know how to transact on digital platforms. And so also, if you talk about cybercrime, when you do transactions online, customers are prompted to be able to put in 3D secure. So that means you get a one-time password that you need to be able to put onto the sites that protects you from being able to to make sure that you are securely paying, or making sure that you're paying on a secure site. So again, there we are stressing that customers need to be able to make sure that they receive that one-time password, and they are putting in that one-time password on the website. So most times customers will talk about that it creates a lot of friction as they're transacting on websites, but it really is for the customer's protection to make sure that they put those details onto the website, so that they're making sure that they are transacting on safe and secure platforms.
Okay, so this transacting digitally also, does it now justify and makes business sense for the branches to be closed and reducing the walk-ins of customers to branches?
So I can't comment on that, but what it is that it's providing customers with choice. So what I mean by that is customers have choice in terms of where and how they're able to access the money and where and how they're able to pay. So for example, with the growth and proliferation of instant money that we're seeing, where we're having about 70,000 new customers take up instant money as an example across the country, it means that as opposed to having to go to a branch, I can able to safely and securely send my money to the recipient, who's then able to access the money across multiple distribution points, from ATMs to our retail partners that we have out in the field. So it therefore reduces the dependency of customers having to go into a branch. But what we're saying is that it all is about customer choice and creating a financial inclusion and more solutions for customers to be able to access to facilitate transactions.
All right, thank you very much for making time.
Thank you.
Nelisa Zulu is Standard Bank Head of Merchant Solutions, talking to us about digital banking, and of course we take a break.